And we've got a lot to track here as we get into tonight. Again, the National Weather Service new this morning has upgraded all of us to that winter storm warning. Again, that's kind of delaying the inevitable or kind of noticing the inevitable. We're going to be looking at some issues, however they shake out tonight. So let's get right into it. Latest look at FUTURETRACK this morning. Again, still expecting a few showers to get out and going out ahead of this storm system, but you notice again, just to the north and west of that, the wind's flipping out of the north, and that's going to drop those temperatures pretty quickly. As we get into this afternoon, we're down into the 30s up north as we get to about 4 and 5 o'clock. I think we're still going to be warm enough as the sun is up here into Columbia, Jefferson City, and parts to the south that all of this should be staying in that liquid form, but it won't last long as we get on the other side of sunset. Looking at that transition as we get into this evening, into the early overnight hours, into sleet, and then eventually all snow as we go from really about midnight on. I think we're going to be looking at mostly snow across mid-Missouri, and once it starts, it's going to be struggling to stop as we get all the way through Wednesday. Our next little slug of moisture is going to be moving in Wednesday night into Thursday, and I think that's where our second kind of bulk of some of those accumulations are going to be occurring tonight, though. Expecting about 3 to 5 inches to fall by tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning's commute is going to be pretty treacherous out across mid-Missouri, and that's going to likely last all the way through tomorrow into tomorrow night, adding on another 3 to 5 inches. So this is what it's going to possibly shake out to across the area. You put all of that together, we could be looking in some spots closing in on a foot of snow. We're going to be highlighting some areas up to the north and east. That seems to be where the hot spot is going to be for some of those locally higher amounts. We'll have to see exactly where some of those snow bands set up. But here's what you want to know. As we get into your Tuesday, I think we're fine to do those last-minute preparations until about 6 or 7 o'clock. And then that transition starts to happen, and those road conditions likely going to be following suit by about 10 to 11 o'clock. We should probably be tucked in as we get into some dangerous road conditions, and they're, like I mentioned, going to be staying with us. In terms of the snow itself, it's going to be one of those wet, heavy snows. That snow-to-liquid ratio is going to be about 10 to 1, which is pretty typical of what we see this time of year, and what that means, it's going to be good for that snowball making, those snowball fights, the sledding. The problem is, again, if you're going to be shoveling it off that driveway, it's going to take a little bit of effort here to do so. Looking at that sledding forecast, though, we're back into the teens tomorrow as that snow continues to fall throughout the day. The feels-like temperature, though, if you are going to be heading outside, maybe taking to some of those neighborhood slopes across the area, going to feel like the single digits. So you got to bundle up as we get into tomorrow if you're going to be braving those conditions. Weather alert days all the way through Thursday night into Friday morning. There's a good chance we may have to extend that into Saturday as well, with those overnight lows dipping down into the single digits. We'll be done with this system by about midday on Thursday, and then kind of picking up the pieces from there on after. But going to be tough to do so, with temperatures only topping out in the 20s Wednesday, Thursday, right on through Friday. And those overnight lows dipping down into the single digits even Friday night.